the space and more about a blast off to the reaction because reacting to the Mass Effect Legendary Edition changes, original versus remastered performance preview. We all know the Mass Effect Legendary Edition coming out in May. I'm excited. Y'all know I'm be streaming that thing. I decided to stream here on Twitch yet. I decided, that's still ringing ding ding in my head right now.
Ring ding. I almost did like copyright. Don't want to.
Yeah. All right, let's check this out. This is not waste time. This is a long video. Let's check this out. Let's see the comparisons between the two, the OG and the new G. God dang it! Shoot. Are you doing the beat?
Not exactly.
I'm saying you get that too. You think you're doing this? You think they won? They really clapping? I can't clap the music too. Tell you YouTube, man. All right, and
they becoming the Footloose City.
It's on, right, and go. When they music gonna be allowing this stuff.
Got a little hoodie thing.
Mass Effect, released in 2007, set the bar for what players expected from RPGs during the 360 era. It was entirely voice acted, used a branching conversation system that allowed for different outcomes in each situation, and promised to have narrative ties that would last the entire trilogy. Pitched over dinner by Casey Hudson as a sci-fi RPG, he believed that it would become a mainstream phenomenon and a must-have game for the Xbox 360.
And it'll come with all the DLC.
Fast forward 14 years later, and we're on the precipice of seeing Mass Effect Legendary Edition release on modern-day consoles and PC with much fanfare, meaning I'd say the entire BioWare team delivered on that goal. We've been given early access to some footage that showcases dramatic updates to the original Mass Effect and a peek at how Mass Effect 2 and 3 will also be improved. But let's start with a closer look at the original, the one that needed the most care, to take a look at how it's been updated. Beginning with the combat sequence, we get our first look at the updated HUD, and yes, your weapons will still use a cooldown system and not thermal clips like in Mass Effect 2 and 3. In addition, the weapons use a different reticle, and there are no longer class-specific weapon restrictions that make certain guns unusable for certain classes. But let's talk about the textures for a second. Using AI upscaling, the new look of this garage scene on Noveria is night and day when compared to the 360. The specifics may appear subtle, but one I can point out in this scene is a much more natural, soft effect of the lighting. They're using ambient occlusion in the scene, which you can see more clearly on the boxes that emit shadows.
Cruel. I'm gonna get you. Oh shit! Oh fuck!
This footage opens with an amazing look at the new female Shepard model as she exits the elevator. The character models looked a lot better in Mass Effect 3, and with the new character model feature, you can start Mass Effect 1 as that iconic female Shepard. The lighting and camera placement has changed here too, putting you a little bit closer to the characters as they move through the levels or down elevators. The Noveria port has been heavily reworked in Legendary Edition, and you see some small elements as you exit the elevator. Couches have cushions, and the textures on the walls and concrete floors have been reworked. In the main hallway, they've added light fixtures across the entire room and even removed large pieces of geometry that previously would break up your path. Here's what BioWare's Mac Walters had to say about why the wall was removed.
The wall and why the wall came down in Noveria, right? You'll see them probably more so throughout Mass Effect 1. They were really just meant for streaming occlusion, essentially sightlines, right? In large open spaces, which we had quite a few of in Mass Effect 1. Whatever the game has to render is going to start to hit your performance. So when you have a wall there, when you come off the elevator, it just means that you don't have to show the whole level and load the whole level and have everything on screen as soon as you get off the elevator. And so the art team wanted to try taking it out, and it worked great, and I think it looks awesome.
When you reach the garage with the Mako inside, you'll also notice an additional lighting in the room and objects that have been completely remodeled. Even on the Mako, there's texture and dirt on the tires, and it looks a lot more rugged and used. Looking at the provided Mako footage is really interesting to me because this is one of the key areas of the original that needed work. The original Mako was floaty, bouncy, and while I can't comment on how the Mako controls
really
now,
was.
as I haven't played it yet, we did get to see 2 driving sections. The first is directly after you leave the Noveria port, and
so
again,
hoppy.
the new textures on the ice-covered mountain
I thought it had something to
immediately
do with
visible.
planet's
If
gravity.
you watch the Mako drive, you might notice some changes,
It's gameplay error.
like a boost feature.
Yeah, it's definitely seems more
Here's
smooth,
BioWare producer
smoother and
Ronald
weighted.
Cronin on how the Mako
Less
changed.
bobblehead.
It is so much better now. We made it better in that it handles better, it targets better. You know, we changed up
Because driving
the
sometimes a pain in
reticle
that thing.
when you're shooting with the Mako now, so that it actually hits where you're aiming, which is very awesome. Didn't used to do that before. We've added boosters to it as well. We're still in the process of sort of tweaking it a little bit, so this clip right here is not necessarily representative of the end product, but it's got all the major improvements that we wanted. Now we're just playing around with, you know, how weighty does it feel, because it's still a little bit floaty, as you can see, but now it feels
Can we get
more,
a
you know, like you're
cockpit
driving a tank and
view?
not,
No.
you know,
Like
the
look at them
car that
inside.
No.
for some reason.
Later,
This is
we also got a
Remastered,
peek at
man.
a Thresher Maw fight on Antibar that shows another gameplay
Thresher
addition.
Maw.
Yes, the Thresher
They
Maw
didn't do
still
it in the
moves
new game,
around,
actually,
but
no.
now with a trail, so you have
No
a clear
Thresher
picture
Maw?
of where they're headed with each movement.
Thresher
That should
Maw?
result in fewer instant deaths. There's also a new sensory tentacle phase to the encounter, where you need to avoid the maw and the tentacles as you battle. At the finale, you can notice the plumes of smoke have a lot more body to them also. I'm a little more hopeful about the Mako after seeing this footage. All of this is on top of massively decreased loading times provided by hardware advances like faster hard drives. This is a side-by-side shot of the original and Legendary Edition. As you can see, you can choose to instantly be at your destination, while in the original, you would be waiting for a significant period of
It
time.
was long, but I didn't hate that.
I didn't mind it.
I didn't hate the
but
elevator ride though.
I wouldn't skip it too, guys.
Oh, but this would be as fast as 14. It took 14 seconds for this. It's still waiting on this.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's gonna make it better because it'll be less waiting time. Damn! A whole minute. Golly.
Inventory system and
Golly.
So
Like Ranger
the
Pod.
inventory
Black
system
Ranger
has been
Pod.
reworked, and it seems you can more easily sort.
Yeah, they said they
and
reset the,
prepare your gear
this.
for you and your squad mates.
Blue Ranger
I like
This
this.
also
I like the
applies
far
to
out version.
store, which looks to give you different view options depending on what you're looking to buy and sell. The character creator, which allows you to create a character
Ew.
before you begin playing
Oh,
any
that's
of the
so
games of the trilogy, is also drastically updated. The original benefits the most from this. And I've gone back to
texture,
see
man.
how close I can get the 2007 character models to the new models, but the options just aren't comparable. There are more hairstyles, more makeup options, more skin tone options, and you're really allowed to go all out.
Oh, yes, that's what I want. Oh, aspect 2. Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to get your arm yet.
We
I
didn't
missed
see
you. I'm
nearly as
sorry.
much, but there's a lot more detail in what we did see than I expected. The outfits have been reworked, meaning no more orange suits. And all the Mass Effect 3 are now available.
I don't mind the
in Mass
orange.
Effect 2.
Calm down.
Well, I don't have any fish at this point in
lighting.
Mass Effect 2 save. What
said
you should
orange
really be
suits.
looking
No,
at
he
is
make
the
us every
new
suit,
game,
'cause the
as
orange
there
light,
are
everything looks
improved
orange.
reflections on the
Oh.
table itself.
So what we're
No.
doing there is instead of doing a screen space reflection, we're doing what's called a render to texture. So you're basically just re-rendering the world in a texture in that space. And so you have to be very careful where you can use them, because you can imagine a scenario where if you use it in the wrong space, you're basically
I like that.
paying twice for your rendering, right?
I want that.
The rest of the Normandy benefits tremendously from the facelift. In Lair of the
BioWare
Shadow
send me that
the
hoodie.
lighting has changed, as you can see in the distance, but most changes in this expansion are subtle. The 4K assets are very apparent, and they may have added a depth of field effect, which I noticed on the ship. In addition, there are a few moments where the new lighting reflects off of surfaces, like at the end of this footage when the array is retracted. Here's BioWare producer Brennan Holmes with a few thoughts.
Mostly it's just graphical improvements here, right? So like on the gameplay side, it's mostly just been bug fixes for Mass 2. We're pretty happy with kind of where Mass 2 is at, but you can see sort of improved visual effects here. Lighting's a lot better. I think I could probably talk a little bit about the DLC stuff as well in here. So it's now embedded in various stores, or you can get it through upgrades in the Normandy. Like DLC is always the fun time when it's, you know, you got all your tools and everything, and everyone just kind of goes crazy. And I remember them pitching this concept around like, yeah, let's have a fight on the outside of the ship, and it'll be like, you know, in the lightning storm with all this stuff going on. And that was just a really cool concept.
And last but certainly not least is Mass Effect 3, which does benefit from all the texture updates, character model updates, and anti-aliasing improvements. But because it was so polished at launch, I asked BioWare what players can expect for the third entry in the series. Here's what Mac Walters had to say about this already stellar entry.
I think it's in the sort of global improvements where you're going to feel it in ME3. The interesting thing there is we knew that Mass Effect 1 would need the most work, but we also wanted to leave everything on the table if there were things that we really wanted to improve there. And the more we sort of dug into 3, we felt like, look, we are more at risk of taking something that was pretty damn good and making it worse, or just making a lateral move where it's different, but is it actually better? And a lot of times we just said, yeah, no, it's fine. You know, gameplay, everything is good the way it is. There were bugs, and we couldn't fix all of them, but we fixed a lot of them, sort of thing, and we would find them all throughout all 3 games, sort of thing. So I think that's another thing. And you probably would go, oh yeah, this feels less buggy. But if you were to play them side by side, you'd be like, oh okay, yes, I see what you did there. Putting them all together with all of the DLC, including things like, you know, armor packs and alternate appearances and stuff like that. And when you get all of that content together, and there is less of that sort of what I would call friction in Mass Effect 1 that kind of is like, oh boy, I like it, but it's really making me work for it. It does feel like a whole experience. It together feels very obviously modernized, but it just feels more than more than some of its parts.
I was already sold on playing through the series once more, and the Legendary Edition gives me the perfect opportunity. The first Mass Effect might just be my favorite game ever made because of the promise of biotic-powered gameplay, stellar storytelling unlike anything I had seen at the time, and space exploration to unique planets. I look forward to jumping back in this May. A special thank you to BioWare for providing the commentary today and for making this amazing trilogy. It is honestly a game that will always be special to me, and I'm so happy to see the amount of care going into this remaster. I'll be doing a full performance review on the final code, so keep an eye out to see how it runs on each platform. In the meantime, if you're looking for performance reviews, keep an eye on IGN Games, as myself and my colleague Michael release new episodes each week, so be sure to subscribe for more videos like this. And a personal note from me to you, thank you for watching. I just love making this series. For more on all things gaming, we've got you covered at IGN.
Let's rock it!
Alright, there we go. It does look better. Mass Effect 3 already was the latest installment to the game, so it's not much they have to really do with that other than maybe slight graphical ups, but it was already the latest game of the PS3, so not much I have to do there. But definitely can say that I'm very excited. The fact, basically, to give me any reason to run back through the game, because I still own the original PS3 versions. I can hop back on any day of the week if I so choose. But I say, nah, I want to re-experience it with this, like this. Because I never touched Mass Effect 1 again. Guys, like, I love Mass Effect 1, but I feel like because of its gameplay feeling, I never really went back to play Mass Effect 1, because Mass Effect 2 and 3 I always kept playing through the most. But now, they're giving me reason to go back through Mass Effect 1, and especially with the different hairstyles, different textures. So I might do Suspect 2. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll stream on both. Maybe I'll stream Mass Effect the first time on YouTube, and I'll stream it the second time on Twitch, because then I'll be creating moi, you know. And then the second time on Twitch, I'll be creating a female character. So I'll be going through the game again anyway to play the female. And yes, the female character is a lesbian. I'm just putting it out there right now. I'll be trying to say, hey, maybe he'll go with Garrus. No. She gonna hook up with Liara. You know? If I so choose. Hey, I might have me with nobody. You get no relation, you'll be single, right?
Asexual representation.
There you go.
I won't be streaming, but I will be playing it.
Yes.
Firstly, making me, and then make somebody based on somebody I liked back in kindergarten.
Okay.
At least her name.
At least you're honest about it.
It's gonna be Native American.
I might do that. No, but then if I do that shit, I won't hook with nobody, because I don't want to hook with me. Never mind. I was gonna say if there was a celebrity I like, but an Asian celebrity I like, I was like, nah, because then she would definitely be single. You ain't hooking up with nobody. If it ain't me, it's not happening. Let me stop. Maybe he's a brother. No.
There are no brothers on the
Not in the first game. Jacob in the second one.
Right. I forgot about Jacob.
But he did, but he's not part of the third one though, because then he goes all with the other team. None of the characters you meet in the second game join you in the third game. That's a lot of people kind of said about that.
Yeah.
Like Jack, Jacob, Miranda.
Schmidt. Jacob, Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Like none of them joins you in the second game, other than you get to meet them and talk to them, help them with missions, but you don't get to they're not part of your team anymore. So definitely understand why people didn't like that. It was kind of like, man, we'll let that hang with Miranda, especially if you have a relationship with Miranda, and it's like which you can, but it's like you don't really get to push on that too much come the third game because she's away from you. You might say share a couple of words and that's it.
They forgot to mention, like, we also made sure that any booty shots was totally removed, so you won't have to enjoy that anymore. You're welcome. You're welcome.
They already mentioned, they don't need to mention the video. They already mentioned that. There's no need to mention the video because they already heard how people feel about that. But the thing is, the booty shots are just for the talk conversation. So you can still angle your camera if you so choose.
You can't stop me.
You can't stop me from seeing the booty.
You can't stop
I will see the booty cheeks if I so man. That's why I hate this. That's why I have to be so photo mode in this.
You can't stop the perv.
You can't stop the perviness with this game stop. But it was just for the gameplay because there were like cut shots where like you're talking to Miranda and the camera's like right on her head. Like, was I mad at it? Hell no. But it's like I can understand why I took it out. I don't think they needed to. But I understand why. I understand why. So it's not like I'm saying like, how dare you give them a booty?
As long as you take out the shirtless shots. Are there any shirtless shots?
For who?
I don't know. If there are any shots if there are any shots in the game that happen to be on the guy's butt, like Jacob,
eventually you make a shot like at the end of the game.
I don't know. Make sure you don't have that, just in case there are any shots of Jacob's butt that the camera's kind of angled. Make sure that's not there.
I'm like, if I see Jacob's butt in a freaking game, I'm like, wait a minute now, hold up.
If I see a dude's butt like that, the way we saw the girls, I'm suing.
Okay. Anyway, very excited for this.
I'm joking.
I can't wait to see the upgrade graphics, man. Just any reason to go back to the 3 games that I love. The ending of 3 is but to go back through the 3 games, I still love all 3. So I can't wait. And they play, and y'all know it's gonna be DLC streams, so y'all know that's coming too. All right, y'all. That's it. We're done with this, motherfuckers. We out of here. We'll catch you guys in the next reaction. Maybe see some more Mass Effect reaction when they drop some more stuff. Probably get a new trailer. All right. Peace.